life be lifing. We just talking crazy. Welcome to the show. Hey, yo, what's good, gang? What's good, man? How y'all doing out there tonight? We back. We back in the building. The shop is open again. The shop is open again. Hopefully y'all feeling good out there. Hopefully y'all had a great day. You know what I'm saying? It's time to kick back and relax a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm a few minutes behind time. Should have been here at 8 straight up, but hey. But I'm here. You feel me? But I'm here. So I'm saying, so hopefully y'all had a great night. Hopefully y'all feeling good. As you come in the building, bro, please hit that like and subscribe button. Please drop a comment. Let me know you're in the building, bro. You see what I'm saying? Like, and please share the live, bro. Share it. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend that might tell another friend. You feel me? So, all right, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm gonna keep y'all long or not. Good night. You feel me? What I do know is, I'm gonna get into this content. It ain't gonna be long. You feel me? It's not gonna be long. Okay, it's not gonna be long. You feel me? So I'm finna get ready to jump into it. And so hopefully y'all ready. Once again, the link is always pinned in the chat. You feel what I'm saying? The link is always pinned in the chat. See what I'm saying? So if you want to come up, you can always come up. That link will be pinned over there. Being pinned at the top of the chat. You know what I'm saying? You want to come up, chop it up with me? It is what it is. But we're going to get into it. Y'all see the name of the title. Everybody smiling ain't loyal. You feel me? Everybody smiling ain't loyal. So, all right. You know what I'm saying? I got you. But, all right. You know what I'm saying? Check it. Like, before we even start, let me ask you something real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, who do you trust? Like, for real. Like, who do you trust? For real. You know what I'm saying? No if and buts about it. Not who you say you trust, not who you used to trust. You know, I mean, right now, today, this week, who can you really put your name, your reputation, your peace, you know what I'm saying, your secrets, your business, your PIN number, you know what I'm saying, your kid, your dog, your last $20 in their hands and sleep good at night. Who can you do that with? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, exactly. Don't get quiet now. Do not get quiet now. Because trust ain't what it used to be. Trust used to be automatic. You see what I'm saying? It used to be with no if and buts about it. Like, I trust you. What to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, we good. We locked in. You know what I'm saying? Now trust got to go through background checks, you know what I'm saying, credit reports. I need about 3 references, you know what I'm saying, and probably, you know, like a subscription, I need a trial, period. You feel me? Like, and then we got to check the vibe, you know. Trust in 2026, trust got to be on probation for a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? Like, might have to be on a little probation for a little bit. We living in an area now where I trust you, where somebody say I trust you, but I'm still watching you. That's what we live in now. You feel what I'm saying? That's what we live in now. I trust you, but I'm still watching you, bro. You feel me? Like, my eyes still on you. I don't know what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? Like, hey, I don't know what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? I trust you, but I'm gonna double check. Man. Let me hit that double back. You know, I trust you, but I'm gonna screenshot it. You know, hey, bro, I trust you, but I told this other person just in case. You know what I'm saying? Just in case you don't come through. And don't act like you don't do it too now. We ain't gonna act like we don't do it too. You know, because see, back in the day, trust was simple. Like you grew up with somebody, y'all ate at each other's houses. Mama knew mama. You see what I'm saying? Y'all fought together, 10 toes down, side by side, back to back, rumbling together. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got in trouble together at school. Boom. That was your people for life. You see what I'm saying? Like back in the gap, we might have fought at the local center, but outside, bro, we were rumbling together. Like, wasn't no ifs and buts about it. My trust for you was good. We found. You feel me? Wasn't no issues. Feel me? Now you can know somebody for 10 years and still be like, yeah, I don't know if I leave my laptop around them. You see what I'm saying? Hey, Miss Studio, appreciate you for tapping in. Appreciate you tapping in. Mic check.
Hi. Having
Hello.
a good night, everybody?
How you doing out there? How you doing out there tonight?
I'm doing well.
Good, good, good. Appreciate you tapping in. Um, we rolling on trust tonight. You know what I'm saying? We rolling on trust. Everybody smiling ain't loyal. You feel me?
Oh, yeah.
You got anything to add to that right now? Or you just gonna let me run through the content? What you gonna do right now?
Well, I mean, I don't really know what you said when I was backstage, so.
Okay, let me run through the content a little bit more then. But yeah, yeah, I got you covered. Real quick there. All right. Go back to the content. Like I said, because trust ain't about time no more. It used to be about if we fool with each other for an extensive amount of time, it was almost guaranteed I could trust you and you could trust me. You know what I'm saying? Now it's about patterns, energy, consistency, you know what I'm saying? And how people move when it don't, you know what I'm saying, when it really don't benefit them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta watch them. Like, let's be honest, that most trust issues ain't random. You know, somebody earned that mistrust. Most of the time, somebody earned it. Somebody messed it up along the way. Somebody switched it up. You feel me? Somebody smiled in your face and moved funny behind your back. And the crazy part is, the people who hurt you the most usually are not strangers. It'll be your friends, you know what I'm saying, your family, you know what I'm saying, co-workers, you know, people you don't pray with, you know, y'all done laughed and had jokes. A lot of times it's people that know your story. You know, that's why trust hit different now. Because once you've been burned, mm, you don't hand the stove to anybody or to everybody. And now you know how that burn feels. So now you're gonna be real cautious on who you allow to have that stove. You feel me? Now let's talk about trusting friends because that's a sensitive one for most people. Everybody got friends, but not everybody got trusted friends. Some folks are just they familiar with you, you know what I'm saying? Because they've been around you, what to do. Some folks are just fun. Some folks you just have fun with. You really can't put no trust in them. What to do? They just there for entertainment. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean they safe. You ever notice how some people only trustworthy when things go good? When you up, you laughing. You know what I'm saying? You spend the money. You know what I'm saying? You vibe, Everybody's solid then. Everybody locked in. Like a chain. It can't be broken right then. You know what I'm saying? But let things go left one time. Just one time. Not multiple times, just one time. Let it go left. Now the energy different. Now the calls are shorter. You feel what I'm saying? They don't text back as much. The support is quieter. That's where you find out who you trust. A lot of times, trust is revealed under pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like check. Okay, you good. All right. Yeah. Sometimes trust is revealed under pressure. Not at brunch, not at the club. You know what I'm saying? Under pressure. When you got bad news, or when you need help, or when you need somebody to pick you up, or when you're not your best self at that time. You know what I'm saying? Keyword when you vulnerable. So we're gonna go with. So, if everybody love you when you're winning, but who you trust when you losing? And let's keep it real. Some people don't betray out of hate. Some people betray out of jealousy. They smile, they clap, they hype you up. Ooh, excuse me. But inside, they comparing your lifestyle. They counting your pockets. They measuring your wealth. You see what I'm saying? Like you don't lose trust because somebody hates you. You lose trust because somebody wants what you got. Oh shoot. Okay, yeah. Have a little technical difficulties. you know. And that's a wild pill to swallow. No. Now relationships, oh shit, that's a whole different ball game, but you know, it is what it is. Because people say trust is everything, but nobody explains what that really means. You know, they don't mean blind faith. Do it mean ignoring red flags? Like trust mean it mean playing dumb.
So why don't we start there? Why don't we start by defining what trust and loyalty is, right? Because trust is the belief that somebody would do what's right even when you're not watching. And it's kind of like that feeling that you're like safe to be honest and vulnerable and dependent on somebody without the fear of betrayal, right? And loyalty is kind of like proven trust over time. And that's not just what somebody says, it's kind of what they consistently choose, especially when it costs them something. And so I feel like while we're talking about this, we can have like a better or a definition to kind of have a baseline on so that because some people feel like trust is something different than that, right? But I feel like when you're talking about trust, I feel like an example of that is like you could trust somebody when you can leave your name in their mouth and they won't misuse it, or you can share your heart and they won't weaponize it against you, or you can depend on their word when it actually means something. And I feel like loyalty looks like defending you when you're not in the room, or not switching sides when the situation changes, or staying true to the relationship even when it's inconvenient, right? So, like, trust is the belief, and loyalty is the behavior that proves that the belief was right. So, in this context, I can understand why people don't all trust the same way. Like, some people trust fast, and some people trust slow, and some people trust in layers. And I feel like you can kind of break it down like a surface level trust would be like a casual trust. Like you could trust them with jokes, you could trust them with public information, you can hang out, but your heart stays guarded. And I would call those people, I wouldn't even call those friends, right? Because you mentioned friends earlier. Like I would call those acquaintances and um like social, what people would call social friends or party friends or work friends. Like those are like acquaintances to me, right? And then you have like situational trust, which is you can trust them in certain areas, but not other areas. I'm sorry, I need a sip of water. I feel like I got some. But anyway, where you can talk about your fears and share your struggles and open up your heart to these people. And I feel like these people are kind of like emotional, like that's like emotional trust, right? And then I feel like there's another different type of trust, like a covenant level trust, where, and I feel like this one is pretty rare, but you've seen or they've seen you in your worst situations and they didn't run when life got messy or they stayed consistent over years, right? Like those lifelong friends or spiritual sisters and brothers or people who've proven themselves through the storms, right? Oh wait, I don't think I gave an example for situational trust. Um Situational trust would be like when you trust them to help you move, or when you trust them to watch your kids, or when you trust them in a business, but you may not trust them with your secrets. And so, in that way, I feel like everybody in your life doesn't belong in the same level of trust. And some people are like front porch people, and some people are living room people, but everybody doesn't get a key to the house. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And that's true. I said, I don't know if I can trust everybody with that key. So it's only a select few that should be getting that. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
totally
Because
agree with you
trust
on that.
does, yeah, because trust does get broken down in real life. Like, I feel like trust usually doesn't disappear in one big explosion. Like, I feel like most of the time it leaks out slowly through patterns of watching somebody, right? So, like, broken confidentiality. Like, you tell them something in private and then it shows up in public. Because when they do that to you, then that teaches you that they don't carry my heart carefully. Or, um, I feel like trust can get broken by inconsistency. Like one day they're here for you, and the next day they're distant or shady. And some people say like it's the energy, right? Like their energy change based on who's around them, right? And then you start realizing like they're not stable enough to trust. Or I've seen like competition disguised as friendship, right? Like where they secretly envy you,
Hmm.
like you were saying earlier, like the jealousy, right? Or they celebrate you in public but compare in private. Like they might come to your graduation and be like, "Yeah, great job," but then when you go to the party, and y'all eating, they'll be like, "Yeah, I don't really think that you should have graduated with this honor," or maybe you chose the wrong thing to graduate in. Like your major was wrong or something. You know what I mean? Like, or they act differently when you're doing well, because then the trust will start to fade because you'll start feeling like they don't want to see me win for real. You get what I'm saying? Or like disrespect during conflict.
Yeah, I
That's a
follow you.
quick way. Okay. Yeah, that's a quick way to like lose trust with people. Because like if you argue with somebody, because a disagreement is going to be inevitable, you're not going to go your entire life without a disagreement. So it's best to learn how to argue fair, right? And I know argue has like a negative connotation, but there are rules to an argument, and if somebody disrespects you during a conflict, you're no longer listening to their point, right? Because they're exposing your secrets in the argument, or they talk crazy when they're mad, or they don't protect your dignity. And that'll show you that their loyalty is emotional and it's not principled. So you can't trust them. Or, and I've seen this happen too, like trust can get broken when people have like an absence during hard seasons, like when life get heavy and they disappear. Or but when life gets fun, then they're right back, being your friend and laughing and stuff. But what it really teaches you is that they're loyal to the benefits that come with you, but not actually loyal to you. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like it plays a part with how much and who you decide to trust based on like what's going on and what patterns you're seeing in people. What do you think?
Totally agree with you on that. Cause at some point, um, the action has to line up with the words at some point. And then your actions gotta match your loyalty. You know what I'm saying? Because even if we don't say these words, because we've been friends for so long, or we've known each other for a while, and even if I don't say the words, I trust you, or even if them words are never exchanged, um, I still got to see some type of action that wants that. You know what I'm saying? That actually can give me a sense of belief to trust you. You know, because a lot of
Well,
folks
yeah.
won't. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. Because a lot of folks won't trust without accountability. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's like for some people, I ain't got to do these certain type of things. I ain't got to go this extra mile for your trust. Like, you should just trust me. Oh, but it don't necessarily work like that. You know, and then they'll come back to you later and wonder why you don't trust me. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's because of what? Maybe because of our history, or maybe because I've heard people say patterns. You know, um, and a lot of times it's just because you continuously doing the same thing over and over again. But when we discuss it or when we have conversation about it, you kind of brush it off like it's nothing, or like it's a misunderstanding. You know what I'm saying? So
Spoken
so
like a person who's truly been betrayed. For real. I agree with that. Because like when somebody like experiences their betrayal, like they don't trust based on time anymore. You get what I'm saying? Like they trust based on the patterns, like what you were saying. And okay, for example, like when you were young, you trusted people because of history. And when you get older, you trust people because of consistency. Like time used to build trust, but now patterns do. So after the betrayal, people like watch for these actions and not the words, like what you were saying. Or they look for consistency, right? They test the character over time, or they stop giving that instant access to their heart. And because of the betrayal, like I don't feel like it made them cold. I feel like it's because they've learned the cost of like that blind trust, and you can't really do that anymore, right? Old people used to say, "When you know better, do better." Right? You ever heard that?
yep, so many times.
And I feel like that's why that loyalty can fade in that way, because sometimes people aren't less loyal because they're evil. It's like life just exposes like the differences. Because trust and loyalty can weaken when people's values change. or their lifestyles drift apart, or jealousy enters the relationship, or one person grows and the other person stays the same, or boundaries get introduced. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes loyalty doesn't die because of that betrayal. Sometimes it dies because of the distance and the growth in the different directions, too. What
That's
do you think
true.
about that? Had you
That's
had a
true. Yeah.
situation where that happened?
Uh, mm, yeah, yeah. I've
Do you
definitely had a
think? Go ahead.
I've definitely had a situation to where I trusted off of history, and just expected it to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying a while ago, without having a conversation, without acknowledging the trust factor, just just off GP. You know what I'm saying? Just off hood. You know what I'm saying? Just off name. I'm automatically trusting you because I felt like we was on different time, we was on a different level than just regular old Joe Bob that I know from down the street. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, at that point, that's the type of betrayal that mm, that's a different type of betrayal. So at that point, your trusting is different now that you're is an adult or older. Now you okay with having these conversations of trust, or now you okay with limiting your space or limiting your circle because you don't know who to trust.
So, do you think trust should be automatic or earned over time?
Well, now when I was younger, I would have said automatic. But the older I've gotten, I feel like it has to be earned now. Now I have to see your loyalty, and I have to see your actions to know that you're trustworthy now. Um, because there's so much. That's the word I'm looking for. So much behind the back stuff going on nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So you really don't know who to trust. So whenever you meet a new acquaintance or a new friend or a new buddy, or however you want to say it, somebody different in your life, and y'all trying to chill or vibe or just hang out, then now you got to take certain steps to make sure that this person is even good enough to be in your circle, or either that you could trust them enough to be in your circle. You know what I'm saying? Because now the older you get, you probably got kids, you probably got a wife or old lady, whichever way you want to put it, a young lady, however you want to put it. You know what I'm saying? So all that has to be factored into it now. You know, so like it ain't just you no more. Like so, as a man, and you're supposed to look out for the other people in your life. Now you got to be extra careful on who you trust or who you bring in your circle. You know what I'm saying? So now, yes, it definitely has to be earned now because I have other people that's depending on me to make the right decision on who I bring around my family.
So, can loyalty exist without trust?
Uh, whew, it's a good
I
question.
know. Yeah, that one hard, huh?
Um, can loyalty exists without trust? I don't think so. Just off me thinking right now, off the top of my head, I don't think so because I think I think it has to go hand in hand with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got one, you got the other one. Like I don't think you can separate the two. I think if you
Have you ever
have
stayed
one, you have
loyal
to have
to
the other.
somebody? If you have one, you have what?
I think if you have one, you have to have the other one. It's just my opinion. That's what I
Okay.
think.
Have you ever stayed loyal to someone who didn't deserve it?
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Yes. Um, too many times. Honestly, because I'm a kind-hearted person, so um, I tend to love hard, and I tend to let's see how can I put this. I tend to stay in situations longer than I should. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how much
So
you've been through or what you've done in your life, but I, I've had situations where I stayed in them to God itself had to put a mark in place to say, okay, now I want to do out this situation. You know what I'm saying? So
so what made you stay loyal to someone who didn't? Okay, well you kind of answered that question, but I guess the question I'm trying to ask is like what made them not deserve the loyalty? Like the moment it made you like, you know what? I don't think this person deserves this loyalty from me, but I'm gonna stay here.
um
Like, what was the determining factor?
well, I'm not even I can't even say that let's see. I can't even say that I came to the conclusion that they didn't deserve it. Um I came to the conclusion of I am in this situation and I'm fighting for a reason. So uh so let me just have hope. And that's what it was a lot of time, hope. You know what I'm saying? Just hope that maybe to get better, hope that maybe something to change. Um, and just trying to fight through the storm. You know, I'm trying to stay in the same spot but fighting the storm too. You know what I'm saying? But the whole point is God
So
is trying to
hope,
move me out of the storm.
hope was the
Yeah. That's
determining
what I.
factor to make you feel like they didn't deserve the loyalty.
No, hope was the reason I stayed there. The reason I I don't think I ever um well I determined that they didn't deserve the loyalty years later after I got out in the situation. So um, at that point, I my eyes open and seen the whole situation for what it was. So and I could sit back and see the hurt and the pain that I put myself through. So that was the determined factor of them not deserving the loyalty at that time. You feel me? You feel me?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
So go
mm,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
So I was just gonna say, and sometimes it takes time for you to actually see that a person don't deserve their loyalty. Some people can see it right off the bat whenever they go through a little tribulations or trials in the situation that they in. And then for some people it takes some time, and I was one of the ones that it took time to see because um I think I was blocking it in my mind because it was a type of situation that I really didn't want to give up on. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't. So I was blinded to the fact of of the unloyalty. You know what I'm saying?
So, what type of patterns make you start pulling back from a friendship or a relation? As a matter of fact, let me type that in now. There we go.
So what type of
What type of patterns make you start pulling back from a friendship or a relationship?
pattern make you start pulling back on one friendship? Shoot. I really don't know. I don't know. It's hard for me to answer because, like I said, I tend to try to fight for what I want. So a lot of times I put up with a lot of stuff, or I pull back. Most of the time, with me, it's always been the other person pulling back before I pull back. So I don't even know what
No,
patterns will make me pull back.
not you being a ride or die. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
ride
I'm
to the
yeah, I'm
four
right.
flats fall out.
Yeah, I'm riding. Ain't no jumping out. Ain't no getting off at the road. Nah, we ride this thing out. That's all I know. That's how I was raised. So I mean, I don't know no other way. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't know nothing about giving up. I don't know nothing about waiting uh till something else happens. You know what I'm saying? Like all I know about is, hey, you stick it out. You trust the process. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
If you build it, they will come.
Oh, okay.
But so what you think about it though? What you got on that? What patterns you see for you in friendships that make you slide back to the left, to the left?
Well, for me, it's not usually one big moment. It's like small things repeating themselves over time. Because one mistake can be human, but a pattern is a message to me. So, some of the main patterns that make me pull back, like for one, like consistency. Like when somebody shows like behavior toward me, like the changing depending on who's around, how they feel, or what they need, that starts to feel unstable to me. And for two, like lack of respect in public or private. Like if someone talks down to me, jokes at my expense, or shares things I told them in confidence, that kind of creates distance in my heart and it makes me pull back. And then for three, like being present when it only benefits them. Like when people like when they're around for fun, like the resources or the connections, but they disappear when I'm going through something. Like that shows me that the loyalty isn't mutual. Or another one is probably like subtle jealousy or competition. Like when I feel like my wins make them uncomfortable or they minimize my growth, it starts feeling like friendship and starts feeling like rivalry, you know? And
Yeah.
even I think in this one is like the biggest one. And so it'll probably be like repeated broken trust. So if I have to keep wondering what version of you I'm going to get or whether my words are unsafe with you, I naturally start protecting myself and I pull back. So for me, it's not about, being dramatic or cutting people off quickly. It's about noticing the patterns and then asking myself, does this friendship feel safe? Does this friendship feel respectful and mutual? And when the answer keeps being no, then I don't always have to fight or argue. Sometimes I just quietly adjust the access that they had on me. Because
Mm,
I don't pull back because of one mistake. I pull back when the pattern starts telling a different story than the friendship.
okay. So mm, good points.
What do you think about that?
I mean, you made valid points. I mean, if that's the reason you pull back, then I mean, I ain't no person can do but respect that. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody have they what you call them, your I guess you want to say standards or your boundaries or your guidelines that you date off of, or that you have friendships off of. The way you have it, you know what I'm saying? How you excuse me, how you live off of it is only you. Like can't nobody
Mm,
justify it or demean it or try to change it because it's you. Then that's what makes you you. You know what I'm saying? But to the point, like if a person actually I would say mm, because you mentioned patterns too. So in
yeah,
your
cause like,
in your
okay, yeah, cause like when you're dealing
you
with like a
said
friendship or something, and you start feeling like a free trial, like I'm the only one paying after the subscription ends. You know what I'm saying? Like when somebody only calls you when they need something, like if I see your name pop up on my phone and I already know it's about a favor, that's not a friendship. That's customer service. I'm not getting paid for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I want a friend, right?
yeah.
Like if my good news make you quiet, like I tell you something exciting and then suddenly you got to go check the stove. But when I'm struggling, you got a whole TED talk ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
So at
You,
that point, is that something that you have a conversation with them about? Like, like do you if you start reading them signs, you know what I'm saying, or them patterns as you say, um, do you have a conversation with them about it, or you just privately start distancing yourself?
it's circumstantial, you know. It depends on what place this person is in my life. Cause I kind of I compartmentalize people sometimes. And I know that sounds weird, but you know, just what I do. I don't know why my brain does that, but it does. And so I guess you said, what did you ask me? You said
And
at
should
that point,
uh,
you said at that point, when do I have a conversation about them or with them, or do I tell them? No, you said, or
no,
do I quietly distance myself away? Is that what you said?
right? Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I don't know why. I thought you said something else. But yeah, so like I said, it kind of depends on the level of the friendship and the pattern that I'm seeing with these people. Because everybody, they don't get the same kind of conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are acquaintances, some people are real friends. And the deeper the relationship, the more it deserves communication before distance. So if it's a close friend, somebody I've known for like 17 years and someone who's been there for me and has history with me, then yes, I believe in having a conversation first because the loyalty that's been there deserves honesty. But if it's someone who like keeps showing the same behavior, they haven't shown real investment, or the relationship always surface level, then I don't always feel the need to have like a big confrontation. Sometimes I adjust the access quietly. Like if I'm going out, if I got a close friend and they did something to hurt me, and it's like, okay, well, I only told you. How do those people over there know? Because it went number two people in the room, and I'm one of those people. Like for that conversation with a close friend, I probably would take them out to dinner or lunch, pay for their lunch, and then have the conversation with them about what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because I just don't feel like every relationship requires a speech. Like some relationships just require a boundary. Like if I only known you for like 65 days and this was a promising potential friendship, and then stuff starts going awry and I start seeing, I'm just gonna adjust the access that they have to me quietly. I'm not gonna laugh at all of their jokes, or I guess I'd be paying more attention to the patterns because if I'm trying to contribute to a conversation and I'm saying something like, we're just talking about something random, like, oh, well, as a millennial, I feel like this. And that person tells me, oh, you're not a millennial. And it's like, well, this thing is Googleable. We could just Google it, right?
Right.
And this
Right.
person is like, basically calling me a liar over something so small. It's like I'm gonna pay attention to that. And then if it happens again, with something else, and I have proof that that's not what the truth is, then I'm gonna pay attention a little bit more. But I'm not gonna like go back and forth like I did the first time and be like, oh, we could Google that. I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay, and then change the subject. You see what I'm saying? Because like the loyalty hasn't
Yeah.
been like established yet. You haven't been able to show me that you could be trustworthy over a period of time so that I can count that as loyalty to me. So if the friendship is deep, then it deserves a conversation. But if it's shallow, then it might just get distance.
Mm, okay. So yeah, you pretty much yeah. So you pretty much have a conversation according to what the standards. I mean, what the status is for your relationship with that particular person.
Absolutely. Yeah, history gets a conversation and patterns get a boundary.
So, so do you feel like uh, trust can be rebuilt off like just apologizing?
That's a good question. Well, I don't know. I kind of want to think about that because I've had some situations where it was and other situations where it wasn't,
Mm,
you know? I don't know. I've done both. So, and sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't. Now, I do feel like, now that I'm thinking about it, I do feel like trust can be rebuilt. Like an apology is a start, but it's not the rebuild, if that makes sense. So
right.
I guess my answer is no, because apology is words and trust is built on patterns. You get what I'm saying? So like trust usually gets broken through repeated behavior. So it can't be repaired with just one sentence. I would need evidence of behavior, of the replacement behavior.
Yeah.
So you could say like I'm sorry in 5 seconds, but it might take 5 months of consistent actions to prove that you meant that you were sorry in those 5 seconds. You get what I'm saying? Like I feel like the real process of rebuilding trust comes back like trust comes back through like first acknowledgement, right? Like they clearly admit what they did without excuses. So what's not an acknowledgement is like, oh, I only did this because you did that. That's not really, you know what I'm saying? It feel like an excuse because although we know that action yield consequences, whether it's good or bad consequences, and you can't really determine how somebody will react to what you do, that's still like you should still have your own morals and decorum, right? So
Right.
it kind of sounds like an excuse. And then the second thing is like change behavior. So you start seeing different actions over time. And then the third thing I think would be kind of like consistency, like not just for a week, but for a season. And then patience comes after that because they don't rush you to just get over it. Because you may still be like, your brain might be doing mental gymnastics and thinking about it over and over again. And that doesn't mean that you haven't forgiven them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just means that this thing still hurts you and your nervous system is trying to learn how to cope with something that hurts you, right? And then finally, I feel like accountability will follow that for the process of rebuilding trust because they'll stay open to the questions and the growth if they're trying to have that trust rebuilt between y'all. because if the behavior doesn't change, then the apology starts to feel like a reset button instead of like real remorse from that person. And I don't feel like trust is built by saying sorry once. I feel like it's built by being different long enough that the fear starts to fade. Because we're afraid of that. Like that's why we stop trusting, right? Because oh, this hurts me and I don't want to feel like that again. So let me put up a wall or let me put up a boundary to protect me from getting hurt again. So you do have like a kind of fear there of this hurting you again, especially like if it's something physical or financial or um you know what I'm saying? Like there's a real fear there. So I feel like an apology can open the door, but consistency is what walks back in and kind of rebuilds the house.
Okay. Well, I feel like it ain't rebuilt off apologies alone. Like like you said, consistency has to be in the play of. Well, I say, and this could play into the same thing. I say the behavior has to change. So or a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because to your point earlier, like you said, if the patterns are still the same, then what to do? You know what I'm saying? But if you can apologize and your behavior starts to change, at that point your actions is showing that okay, maybe this person um can potentially be trusted again later on. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that if that behavior don't change and you just apologize and leave it like it is, then have you really done anything? No, you haven't accomplished nothing. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of gave a I would say a dry apology, without nothing behind it.
I agree with that. An apology is only meaningful when it's followed through with that new behavior. Otherwise, it just becomes like a routine, you know? And it's like, oh, you cut me on the arm. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you cut me again because you just cut me yesterday and I'm still healing from that. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. It's fine. I won't do it again. Right. And then they cut you a third time on a different arm. It's like, oh, well, you cut me a third time. It's like, oh, well, that was a different arm. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I don't feel like trust isn't rebuilt when someone says I'm sorry. It's rebuilt when you start noticing, okay, they're moving different now. Because what people consistently do after the apology tells you more than the apology itself. I honestly believe it. And sometimes, and let's talk about this too, because sometimes a person is trying to change, and that's where the discernment comes in. Like you gotta start asking, like, is this a temporary change or a real shift? You gotta ask, like, are they changing because they got caught, or are they changing because they grew as a person? You gotta ask, like, are they patient with the rebuilding process or are they rushing me to trust again? Like all these things matter because potential trust isn't based on like this perfect behavior that we facade that we have inside of our minds. It's based on consistent, visible effort over time. And I feel like one thing that we should talk about is like if someone did something to you and you see that the last time that they said X, Y, and Z or did X, Y, and Z, it hurt you, but this time you saw them like reset. Because sometimes you can see it in people's face, like, oh, wait a minute, and they slow down a little bit and then they do something different. But everybody don't pick up on that when they're the one that's being hurt. They don't see like a person trying to change. And then the next time an argument happens, because they might have hurt you the one time, and then next week they did the right thing, and then the second week they did the right thing. But then the third week they made a mistake again. And it wasn't the same mistake, but it was similar to the thing that hurt you on the first week. And then you, the person who's trying to allow, giving them the opportunity to rebuild the trust, says the thing like in an argument, you say, oh, well, you always hurt me, and discounting like what that person did in the previous past 2 weeks in a situation where they could have hurt you, but they actively chose not to because they were trying to change. Like, what do you say? about the person who is the forgiver, right?
What do I say about the person that's the giver?
Mm-hmm. What does that person have to do?
The person just gotta that person has to pretty much keep their eyes open. Because you can forgive them, but if nothing comes with it, then you got to be paying attention enough to know that is nothing there. You know what I'm saying? Um, and at that point, you probably need to go on and finish whatever it is y'all got going on, and just go on and end it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if there's something there, then that person, huh?
What do you mean end it? If you're the person like missing the okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. Maybe it's gonna make sense when you're done. To me, makes sense to me. Go ahead.
Um, I was saying if you talking about the forgiver, because you said what do the forgiver need to do in that situation? Well, like I said, the forgiver um, just need to pay attention to what's going on with the situation. If he forgive them and they continue to try to have whatever it was they were having, or this relationship, friendship, situation, whatever it is, um, the forgiver just have to pay attention to what's going on around them now, and I think take everything with a grain of salt till he or she actually see that the individual is actually trying to be better after the apology.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I think so. I think so. I think I understand what you're saying. So could you give an example of what you mean?
I'm just saying you gotta pay attention to whatever it is going on. Like even if it's a friend and that person um break out trust and then apologize, like you can forgive them, but you gotta pay attention to whatever how they act after that too.
Right. I agree
Because
with that.
it might just be okay, yeah, we need to go on and end this friendship. What to do instead of trying to keep it afloat because you're not you ask for forgiveness, you apologize, but you didn't change now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And see, that's what I
As
was
a
saying. Like, that's a real situation because rebuilding isn't just work for the person who apologized, it's also work for the person who chose to forgive. Because forgiveness isn't just saying, like, okay, I forgive you. Like, it also means being willing to notice growth when it actually happens. Because if someone is changing and you keep treating them like they're the old version of themselves, then the relationship gets stuck in the past. You see what I'm saying? So if the forgiving person is doing the work, but the forgiver isn't still arguing, you know what I'm saying? Like they're still arguing with the memory instead of the reality, then the healing can't move forward because growth requires like two things. Like one, the person changing their behavior, and two, the other person being willing to see it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying on that, and you're absolutely correct. Um, it requires both parties to pay attention then because, and that happens a lot of times too. A lot of times people don't like they hear your apologies. You know what I'm saying? but that
Mhm.
don't mean they forget what happened.
Right, because
You
forgiving and
know,
forgetting are two different things.
right? So now, to your point, now I'm still looking at the old you instead of the you that might be growing or that had a little growth. Like I'm still looking at the old you because I haven't really forgot what happened, or I hadn't let
Right,
go of what happened. I might have forgave you, but that don't mean I let go of it.
right.
You know what
And
I'm
so what I
saying?
was
'Cause
saying was like, what should they look for when they're rebuilding the trust? The forgiver, right? That's why I was trying to get you to tell me, like, what do you think the person that's forgiven the other person that hurt them, what should they look for to be more vigilant so that the friendship or the relationship can progress?
well, they got to look for a more consistent base. Uh,
Right. Consistency
they,
and not
they
perfection.
got yeah, and then they got to understand that sometimes it ain't gonna happen overnight neither. Like it's gonna be a process. So if I'm understanding that it's gonna be a process, then and if we trying to actually rebuild this, then another thing I should be doing in the process of it as a forgiver is help celebrate the little wins too. You know what I'm saying? As we try to
Mm,
rebuild this, because sometimes even if we talk about trust or and loyalty, sometimes celebrating the little accomplishment on that process, on that journey to rebuild can only what's the word I'm looking for, can only boost their morale to keep going to make it even better. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when you don't celebrate the little wins, some people be looking at you like, "Dog, did you see I just done this? Did you see I just
right.
done that?" You know what I'm saying?
Paying attention to the
And
effort. Yeah.
yeah, and if the person that's putting in the effort look at you and or just acknowledge, or not just look at you, just pay attention to the fact that you ain't even acknowledging the little wins, then they're like, "What am I doing this for? I might well stop doing it." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because so it just the forgiver has to understand what comes with the process if we actually rebuild it. And the process is consistency and then celebrating little wins and then actually just understanding that this is not gonna happen overnight. So what
Okay.
about you on that?
Well, on this, I think that you're right. Like looking for that consistency and not perfection. I feel like you should be asking as the forgiver. I feel like you should be asking like, are they showing different behavior over time, or am I expecting them to never mess up again? Because that growth is usually gradual and not instant, like you said, not overnight. And then another thing you said was like, I agree with this, like paying attention to the effort. You should be asking as the forgiver, are they trying? Like, even if it's not perfect? Or are they more aware than they used to be? Because that effort is the first sign of real change. And then something that I don't feel like you mentioned, but I do believe is a part of that as a forgiver, I feel like they should notice their response to correction. They should be asking, like, when I bring something up, do they listen? Or do they get defensive and repeat the same patterns? Because I feel like a growing person is teachable. You see what I'm saying? And then I think you mentioned like in a way you mentioned like tracking patterns and not the memories. Cause I feel like
Right.
that's a way too, right? The forgiver should be asking like, am I reacting to what they're doing now or am I reacting to what they did months ago? Because if the behavior changed, then the emotional response may need to change too. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then um something I think that I agree with. Well, I don't think you mentioned this one, but I feel like it's important. Being honest about your own healing. You know what I'm saying? The forgiver should be honest about their own healing. Like you should ask yourself, like, have I actually healed from what happened, or did I just say I forgave them so that we can move on? Because sometimes the issue isn't the other person's growth; it's our unprocessed hurt. You see what I'm saying? And then lastly, I think the forgiver shouldn't be using the past as a weapon if they're trying to rebuild the trust. Like if someone is genuinely trying, like bringing up old mistakes in every argument creates hopelessness. And it tells the other person, no matter what you do, I still see you as the old you. And I think you hit on this a little bit. Like you said, what's the point? I agree with that because people start to think that because it kind of discourages the real change. But forgiveness isn't about releasing, it's not just about releasing the offense, right? It's also about making room for the new version of that person. Because if someone is doing the work and you refuse to see it, then the trust isn't going to be rebuilt. It's just going to be blocked. And then when it becomes blocked, you're going to feel like that person isn't loyal to you, even though they've actively been trying, or that person, um, you can't trust that person, even though they've been trying, you know? So if you forgive someone, you also have to be willing to meet the version of them that's trying to change. And I feel like that's fair.
Right. You're absolutely correct. I think it's fair too. Because it can't be it can't be one sided. If you're gonna talk about rebuilding, it's just like anything else. It takes effort from both sides. Like the person that done the wrong got to put in the work. Then the person that's forgiven have to actually acknowledge the work. You know what I'm saying? So it's as the old saying, it takes two to tango. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I truly believe, truly agree with you on that one. You know what I'm saying? So
So, so do you think that that loyalty has like an expiration date?
um, mm, it has an expiration date on it. um, well, I think that's up to the individual. Um, but just generally speaking, if it was me, um,
Hmm.
I think it has an expiration date if you're not doing nothing to receive that loyalty.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
if that person is not um, putting themselves in position to receive loyalty from you, then yes, it should definitely have an expiration date on it. But if they are, and you both understand the assignment, then no, I don't think it have one on it. Um, yeah, that's what I would say. What about you?
Okay. Well, I don't think loyalty has an expiration date, but I do think it has conditions because loyalty isn't meant to survive in these environments where there are no respect or no growth or no mutual care. Like loyalty is strong, but it's not supposed to be blind. And it's not meant to keep you stuck in places that keep hurting you. So like if the foundation of the relationship is still there, if there's honesty and effort and growth, then loyalty can last a lifetime. But when the foundation changes, when that trust keeps getting broken, when respect disappears, or when a relationship becomes one-sided, then loyalty naturally starts to fade. And I feel like sometimes loyalty doesn't expire because that time has passed. It expires because the environment changed, and that's how two people can grow apart, right? Or like when values shift, or when boundaries get introduced, and what used to be healthy it doesn't always stay that way. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't feel like loyalty is supposed to be forever just because history is long. It's supposed to be forever because the relationship is still healthy. That's what I think.
Hmm. That's a good point.
So how do you
Um,
know when someone truly
hmm.
regrets what they did so that you can get back to trusting and work on loyalty?
Well, I truly believe their actions gonna show it. If they truly regret what happened in that situation, um, I truly believe you will see a change in their character, in they tone or the way they talk, or just their overall actions, for as just interactions with you. Maybe they'll call a little bit more, talk a little bit more, or text a little bit more. You know, or just try to spend more time with you. It'll definitely be you definitely see a shift in the what's the word I'm looking for? A shift in the thing. You definitely see them change.
Like
Put
in
it
the
that way.
atmosphere, like when you're
Yeah,
around them.
yeah. I guess you could say atmosphere. You probably can say that because I don't know. I'm looking for a different word, but
Okay, I'm
but
sorry.
no, you fine. But that's probably what I say. Yeah, it'll probably be a definite shift in whatever the situation may be, or how they conduct themselves with you after the what's the word I'm looking for? God, dog. After the incident or whatever you want to call it happens, and you forgive them or they apologize. Then once that happens, their actions towards you will be totally different. Like I said, they will move different. They'll talk different. They pursue you different. Like all of that would be a different vibe, if I can say vibe. You know what I'm saying? So, and what about you?
Oh, well, for me, regret isn't something that you hear. I agree with what you said. Like it's something you see because the words are easy, right? And anybody can say I'm sorry, but I feel like real regret shows up in behavior. Cuz somebody who truly regrets it, they'll like for one take full responsibility. No excuses, no blaming you, no well, you did this too. They own what they did completely. And then for two, they'll like you said, the behavior will change. It'll actually change. And you'll start noticing different reactions, different decisions, different patterns, not just for a week, but over time. And then, like, they'll become patient with the building process. Like, they not rushing you to trust them again. And they understand that trust takes time to grow back. And if somebody keeps saying something like, why you still bringing that up? Or you should be over there by now. That's usually guilt and that's not true regret. And then another way is like I feel like they become more aware and careful. Like they start thinking before they act and they start becoming more intentional about your feelings in the relationship because that regret makes a person more mindful. Like a healthy person, more mindful, right? We're not talking about sadistic psychos. um and then I don't feel like they'll repeat the same behavior, not on purpose, because everybody make mistakes, and sometimes you make the same mistake twice, because it might be like a long time in between it, right? Um, but the biggest sign of regret is like the thing that broke the trust, it stops happening, you know? So like for instance, if you got a kid and that kid is like stealing out of your wallet or your purse, and you tell a kid like, hey, I can't trust you. I can't leave my stuff around. This is my home. I should be able to feel comfortable leaving my stuff out. and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I won't take it again, but I just really needed this thing from school." And it's like, "Well, why you didn't ask?" Right? And you go through all that, and then like the next week they still again. Well, when you had that second conversation, it'll be like, "Well, now I feel like your behavior is showing me that I can't trust you." But if that person like really regrets it, they'll apologize and be like, "Yeah, I know that was wrong, me taking that from you, and I'm sorry, and I won't do it again." And then like you leave out money again and they don't do it, you can't, all the times that you left out money, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, you can't go back to that person and be like, "Oh, well, I lost my wallet. It must have been you that took it," because they did it one time, right? Just like blaming them. Because what if they really do regret it? Because true regret produces change. And I feel like if there's no change, then there's no real regret. It's just an apology.
Right. But so I mean, but at some point, uh, you have to make a decision on that person to decide whether you see uh, real regret or not, because some people can play their role.
So let's talk about trust.
Yeah.
Like, do you think people betray others, like, or do they just reveal who they always were? Like, it just be people out here betraying people for no reason, or just like
Excuse
this is who they always were.
me. Hmm, that's a good question. I think I think sometimes that's who they always were, and sometimes we don't pick it up or we don't see it because we think they are different. Because a lot of times people come with expectations of people. So
Mm,
if I have this expectation that you're not this type of person, even though you're showing me this, but I've put this expectation deep inside me that you're a great person, or let's just say to your scenario, you're a person that steals, but I put this expectation in my mind that, oh no, you ain't that type of person. Then um according to how embedded that expectation is inside my head, it will overshadow what's actually showing me, or it will overshadow what I'm actually seeing, because I'm forcing myself to believe something that it's not. So, so a lot of times people show you who they are, but the expectation that we have, or the person that we want them to be, overshadows what we should be seeing, or what is right there in our face. How about you?
mm. Well, sometimes I think it's a little bit of both because sometimes people betray you, and sometimes they just finally reveal like who they always were under pressure. Because life has a way of exposing character, which is why I don't test people because life does it for me. You see what I'm saying? All I got to do is pay attention. Like when the situations get hard and they get like tempting and inconvenient, like people stop performing and they start showing their real priorities. And I feel like it's two sides of the truth here. And so the first side would be like some people like truly change, and they are the people who get influenced by the wrong crowd and grow bitter and become selfish over time, or make bad decisions in a weak moment. And in those cases, the betrayal wasn't who they always were, it was who they became. You see what I'm saying? Because, like,
Yeah.
that's why we got to keep our young people out of the streets and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can become that, and that wasn't who you were. And then, the second truth is, I feel like some people were always that way, but in other times, the red flags were there and their character issues were there and the selfishness was there and we just didn't notice it or we excused it for whatever reason. So the betrayal didn't create a new person, it would just expose the one that was already inside.
Mm.
Like betrayal doesn't just hurt because of what they did, it hurts because it changes how you see them. And you go from, oh, I thought you were this kind of person to now I see who you really are. And that shift, that I feel like is what breaks the heart. So like
Mm.
I guess that pressure doesn't always create character. Sometimes it reveals it.
Mm. Hey, I could dig that. I could definitely dig that. Um, but we was along the same line though, so I mean, I truly understand um, what you're saying with that. Um,
Is it
so
possible to be loyal to someone who you don't respect?
I don't think I've had any, you know.
I don't know. That's a good question. Hmm.
Because we talked about the trust and the loyalty, but we didn't talk about the respect.
Can you be loyal to somebody you don't respect? Mm, yeah, I think you can.
Let me type it in. Let me type it in.
I think you I think you definitely can. Because that don't determine. I don't think respect determines how loyal you are to a person. I think respect determines how you. Um, well, hold up. Let me take that back. You might be
Let
now.
me tell you what I
There you go.
think.
Yeah, you can.
I feel like you might be able to stay attached to somebody you don't respect, but I don't feel like that's true loyalty. Like people do that when they like have a obligation or like a fear of leaving or a habit or guilt or dependency or just being comfortable in a familiar like situation. And all those things can look like loyalty from the outside, but they feel very different on the inside.
Um, yeah, I could agree with you on that. But see, I just
Cause
believe that. Go ahead.
hmm
I just believe that sometimes, even though I ain't got no respect for you, sometimes the loyalty can still be there. I think so, man. I'm not sure of how. Uh,
and I agree with that. I think, well, in a way, I kind of agree. I feel like again, like you might be able to stay attached to someone you don't respect. But I feel like what real loyalty is built on, like healthy loyalty usually grows out of three roots. And the first one would be like respect, which is I honor who you are. And then the second one would be like trust, like I believe in your character. And then the third one would be like value, like you matter to me, right? And I feel like what loyalty is built on, because if the respect is missing, then the loyalty becomes like fragile in a way. And I feel like it'll become fragile because eventually, like you'll start talking down to them, you'll start stop taking their advice seriously, you'll feel embarrassed by their actions, or like you will just emotionally check out. And when that happens, the loyalty turns into resentment. And I think that's what happens with a lot of men when they're dealing with women. And that's why they treat them like that. Because, like, that's why they can't be loyal. You see what I'm saying? Because the respect isn't there. Or the trust isn't there or the value isn't there. I feel like it definitely is like a recipe or a formula of sorts. You get what I'm saying? Because it looks different. It looks different. Like loyalty without that respect, it looks like an example of it would probably be like you'll stay, but you're constantly complaining about them. Like, oh, why you always got to get your nails done? Or, oh, why you didn't cook today? You know, or like, but not like, oh, you must have been busy. Is that why dinner's not ready? You know, it's like, oh, you didn't even cook today. You know what I mean? Or you're doing things for them, but with bitterness. Like, I guess I put gas in your car. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. Like, or being like physically present, but emotionally detached. Or like defending them in public, but disrespecting them in private. And I don't feel like that's real loyalty. That's duty without the honor, without the respect. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I see what you said. Um, I really think most of the things that we're talking about tonight kind of go hand in hand with each other. Um, so it's kind of, and that's what makes it a good debate question, because um you can, it's kind of hard to say that one goes or can be possible without the other. You know what I'm saying? Because so much relies on actions and words and stuff like that. So once you tie all of them together, it's kind of pretty much uh, a chain of things that runs together to make it all possible. So it's hard to say that you could do one without the other, or the other without the other one. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe, um, you can have a little loyalty without respect. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that. I don't know how much though. That's where the problem comes in. I don't know how much, but I
What?
think you
I
have.
mean, oh,
I don't know how
I
much, because
mean,
it's still levels to how much loyalty and respect that you have for one another.
but is it
Because
loyalty
according to
though?
how,
Because that's gonna look real strange. Like that's like saying I love this restaurant, but every time you eat there, you whisper, this food is trash." You know what I'm saying? Like you still
but
eating at the
see, but see,
table, but your spirit already ordered Uber Eats. Like it's you like, come on.
and that's how it happens, because we are humans. We all are human. So in the human form of things, we tend to allow things to happen that way. Like, I can respect you enough to 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 not sleep with your wife, but I don't respect you enough to not cuss you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's levels to this
What?
stuff.
What? I mean, okay, that's like loyalty without respect. It's like keeping a phone with a cracked screen and you ain't got no signal and you got 3% battery. Like, yeah, you still got it, but you still embarrassed to pull it out in public. Like it don't they don't go together.
And that might be true. That might be true. But still, that loyalty and respect is still there. Now
Is it
that don't
though?
mean,
Because that's
but
it's
but
like peanut butter
but
and
that don't.
applesauce. Like it just don't
But
go together. Like
it might not. But then, to your point, that don't mean that this is the person that I'm gonna have with me every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't trust him that much, but I could I can trust that he got a little loyalty and respect for me, that I can hang with him once a month. You know what I'm
oh, so
saying?
this is more like an associate to you. This not a person that you are really like that'll be in the trenches with you, is what you're saying.
No, no, because if I got to question your loyalty and respect, then you ain't gonna be in the trenches with me.
I
The
don't
only one
know.
in the
I don't feel
trenches is
like
the only one in the trenches, the one I ain't got a question.
I don't feel like that's loyalty. I think that's emotional layaway. Like you ain't
And it
proud
might
of it,
be.
but and you hadn't come back to come pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't come back to pick it up.
And it might be that too, you know what I'm saying? But I'm
Oh,
just saying, like, it's possible. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I think it's possible. So,
give
I
me an
mean,
example
hey,
of where that'll work out.
I just gave you one.
Like just as an associate, and that's it. That's the only way that this will work. Like that
Yeah, but
specific circumstance.
once something happens, that I gotta trust your loyalty and your trust for me. Anyway, you become an associate. You ain't what we was no more. You know what I'm saying? We ain't tightly bonded like that no more. You see what I'm saying? Because so now
Mm.
you got to be now we got to build that back up, and the only way we're gonna build that back up is if you actually do what you need to do on your side and actually do what I need to do on my side. But that's gonna take a process. So
Hmm.
I can still fool with you, but it's gonna be a limited amount of fooling with you.
I mean,
You
I
see what
get
I'm
what you're
saying? Like,
saying. Yeah, because I don't treat trust and loyalty like a one size fit all situation either. Like everybody in my life doesn't sit in the same seat. And I kind of think of it like a house. Like everybody who comes in my life, they don't get a key. But some people are just on the porch. Some people are just in the living room. A few make it to the kitchen. And it's only a small number of people that get access to the bedroom or the safe. You see what I'm saying?
the ones in the
Like
kitchen can cook.
I mean, I feel like that's relational trust. The ones in the kitchen. Okay, so let me break it down then. So like, okay, so the porch people, these are like acquaintances loyalty, like acquaintance loyalty. Like these are the people I'm cool with. We can laugh, we can talk, maybe we can hang out, but I'm not telling you my secrets, and you don't have like access to my vulnerable places. And then you got like the living room people. This is like the social trust, right? These are friends I enjoy being around. Like I trust them with conversation, maybe like light problems, everyday life stuff, but they still don't carry my heart or like my deep struggles. You get what I'm saying? And then I got the kitchen people. And like I said, that's relational trust because these people I share life with. Like they know my situation, they know my struggles, my dreams, and they've shown consistency. So I trust them with more responsibility in my life. And then you got like the inner room people. And I feel like this is kind of like the covenant loyalty, right? Like the top tier platinum program, right? Like this is like people who I deem as my family. Cause we're not talking about blood. You know what I'm saying? But this is family. This is spiritual covenant or like a spouse. Like these are people who have proven themselves over time and have seen me at my worst and still handle me with care. Like that level of trust is earned and it's protected and it's not given out easily. So when I talk about like trust and loyalty, I'm not saying everybody gets the same level. Like your position in my life determines your level of access, and your behavior determines whether you move closer or get moved back toward the porch.
Right. And what you should.
So I
Like
get what you're saying.
that's
Hmm.
very valid points. You know what I'm saying? Like you just broke it all the way down. Basically, I just gave the short breakers. You just broke it all the way down. You know what I'm saying? So it works both ways. But yeah,
I mean, that's just how I
um,
do it. Cause like I said, I compartmentalize people, and I don't give everybody the same level of trust. Like some people get that conversation loyalty, like some get the emotional loyalty, and very small number of my life gets like the real loyalty. Like your consistency decides your category for me. And I know everybody don't do this inside of their brain, but this has become like a system. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like something I can really trust because it works every time. Like I don't get burned much with people because it's a system, you know,
yeah.
based off of biblical principles.
But see, I get burned a lot because I try to stick around too long.
Well, you need
So,
to be asking yourself why you sticking around.
well, I stick around because I be, you feel like once the person apologized to you, you feel like you know that person gonna change or it's gonna be something different
And ain't
until
nothing
you.
wrong with hope. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I don't feel like anything is wrong with it. Like, but if you're sad or you feel bad that you keep getting burned, then maybe the hope system is not working for you. Maybe you need to find a different system because I guarantee you these people that's hurting you, they sleeping well at night. You are not keeping them up and making them lose any sleep from what they did to you.
Mm, you might be right. I ain't disputing it. Now. I'm not disputing it at all.
So I don't know.
I'm not disputing it at all.
hmm I don't know.
Um,
Might want to find you a new system. But I mean, like I said, if it works for you, then it works. I know a lot of people who work off the hope system and it works out.
do it.
Now you said that like hope ain't never worked for you.
I
Dang.
mean, I mean, the earlier part of my life it hadn't worked. So right now I'm trying to see if it gonna work this time. So you taking it. You just, I mean, I be calling it just life with me myself. So I just like, hey, this life. So I just try to make the best out of it. Either it gonna work or it ain't. You know what I'm saying? I just try not to. What one thing I try not to do is try not to allow myself to get down afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Because that's easy to do when stuff like that keeps happening over and over again. You'll get down on yourself. You start questioning yourself. Am I this? Am I that? You know what I'm saying? So I just try to make sure I don't allow it to affect my mindset.
I mean, and like I said, I know people in whom this system works because like for them, like I've actually had a close friend who kind of like explained it to me or the way that he does it in his mind. And so, because some people don't stay in relationships because everything's perfect, right? And this is a system that I feel like you're describing. Like they stay because they see that potential, or they stay because they remember the good moments, or they stay because they believe something can still grow. And I feel like the hope system is like broken down. If I were to break it down, I would say maybe like four stages, right? Like that memory hope, where you remember who they were in the beginning and you stay hoping that that version of them comes back. And then that potential hope, where you see what they could be, right? And you stay there because you believe that they'll grow into it. And then you have like that emotional investment hope, right? Which is kind of like you already poured like so much time and so much energy and love into this relationship, so leaving feel like throwing all of that away. And then like that future vision hope, right? Like you've built that like a picture in your head, for like a better word, of what that relationship could become, and that picture keeps you there, right? And so in that hope
Right.
system, you know then I just feel like that reflection is powerful, right? Like hope is powerful. And I feel like it can work in a couple of different ways, right? That healthy hope is going to say, oh, I see, the growth and the effort and the progress. And that unhealthy hope, it says, like, oh, nothing has changed, but I'm staying anyway because I'm afraid to let go. So, like, I feel like hope can either be like a bridge to something better or like a chain that keeps somebody or something that already expired. But the difference is like whether the real growth is attached to it or not. So that's why I say like it worked for some people, you know, because like hope is what keeps the relationship that aren't perfect, you know. But that hope should still be tied to progress and not feelings. Because if nothing is growing, then it's not hope anymore. It's just fear letting go. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying. So, I don't know, but mm,
I don't know. The hope system probably can work for you though.
uh, I'm probably I'm a virgin, as you said, like find another different way because it hadn't been working.
I'm saying like when it's
You know what
healthy,
I'm saying?
right? It's actually a beautiful thing because because hope is what keep people from giving up on each other too quickly, right? It's what allows relationships to grow instead of just being replaced every time everything gets uncomfortable. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like that, but the healthy hope saying it's saying like I see your effort, like I see your growth, I see who you are trying to become, and I'm willing to walk with you while you're becoming it. And that kind of hope builds the loyalty and patience in real partnership. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when you got hope with evidence, like you're not just imagining a better future, you're actually seeing the change in accountability in the effort. And that could be a beautiful thing. When you have hope with boundaries, like you can believe in somebody's growth without losing yourself in the process. When you have hope with patience, then you understand. You know what I'm saying? Like real love isn't always like these fireworks. I feel like sometimes it's like a quiet progress and it's like small improvements and consistent effort. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, which is true.
Like, right. And
Exactly what
then,
it is.
right, the best of all is like when you have hope rooted in purpose. Like, that's when you're not staying because you're afraid to leave. You're staying because you actually believe something meaningful is being built in this moment. Like, so I think hope is one of the most powerful things in a relationship because without hope, nobody would survive each other's growth seasons. But healthy hope isn't blind. You see what I'm saying? Healthy hope
Yeah.
still, it sees the effort, it sees the change, and it chooses to stay because something is like real is being built. So I don't think anything is wrong with hope. You just got to have hope coupled with something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I don't know. I gotta figure out what something else is then. Yeah. Gotta figure out what that is. But hey, I'm gonna figure it out one day. To God be the glory. Yeah, yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord. I'm
Amen.
gonna figure it out though. Um, but I'm gonna get ready to get up out of here. You got anything last words you want to throw out there for the people in the back? Hello? Oh,
Oh,
she
I'm
on
sorry. I
mute.
was on mute. I was saying in the back. I was like, uh, um, yeah, I do. So I guess I want to say, hold on to your hope, but make sure it's growing something because real hope builds and it doesn't just wait. Let's look at these people who we trust and let's look at the trajectory of loyalty because loyalty is just trust over time. So y'all have a good night. Thank you for having me. And y'all stay vigilant.
Oh yeah, appreciate you.
This has
Appreciate
been
you.
Talking Greasy.
No, yeah, remixed it. Okay. I, you know, remixed it on us this time. I feel you. Do your thing. Do your thizzle. But I appreciate for everyone that tapped in, bro. You know what I'm saying? Whether you commented or not, appreciate you tapping in. A view is a view, bro. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But We was just talking about trust and basically trust, and loyalty. So, and sometimes when you trust yourself enough to walk away when the trust breaks, you know what I'm saying? Because staying where trust is broken don't make you loyal. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes you stuck. You know? And at the end of the day, trust is trust. Like don't give it out like a loose change. You know what I'm saying? Like invest it wisely and protect it. And don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty for being selective on it. You know what I'm saying? But like I always said before I get up out of here, man, if you got somebody you love, go tell them, go see them, go hug them, go spend time with them because what somebody's going through today can easily be you tomorrow. Everybody don't deserve access to your life. And that's not being bitter. That's being awake. Let's just let that sit in. But this has been another episode of Talking Greasy. So if you like or you fooling with the content, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment in there. Let me know your trust stories. You know what I'm saying? On the playback. So, but if you fooling, we'll come back next time, next episode. Hopefully we'll have a banger for you. You know what I'm saying? But y'all be blessed out there. Stay vigilant. Stay safe.